So we know that the Pelecypoda belongs to the phylum Mollusca. So the term Pelecypoda comes from two words. Pelecy means hatchet, podus means foot. So it is hatchet shaped or block shaped foot. It consists of hatchet or block shaped foots in on the anterior side. That's why it is called Pelecypoda. Hatchet or block means like ଯେତେବେଳେ ତମେ ଦେଖିବ ହଳର ଲଙ୍ଗଳ ଯେମିତି ତା ସେମିତିକା ହଉଛି ସେପ୍ର ହେଇଥିବ hatchet ଏମିତି hatchet shape ହେଇଥିବା ଯୋଗୁଁ ତାକୁ କୁହନ୍ତି Pelecypoda. So it is also called lamellispranchia or acephala because it consists of a leaf-like gills, or it is called acephala because it doesn't have a head, or head is absent in case of Pelecypoda. That's why it is called acephala or lamellibranchia because it has an internal leaf-like gill. The outer covering of the organism consists of calcareous exoskeleton, just like brachiopods, which is called cell. Like similar with brachiopods, it also has two valves. That's why it is also called bivalvular. Okay, we know that we have already discussed that in case of brachiopod, the two cells are generally unequal but equivalent. But in case of pelecypods, it is equal but inequilateral. This is a major difference between brachiopod and pelecypod. In case of brachiopods, it is equilateral, but here it is equivalent but inequilateral. Hence, the size of the both curves are equal, but it is inequilateral here. So, most of the pelecypods are marine benthic forms, generally present at the bottom of the sea. Within them, there are both sessile, means fixed, or vagal, means free-moving roots. Most of them are inforas. Also, some freshwater species are also present. तो तुम्हें देखने को generally valves होता है. This is one valve. Other is there is another valve. Though both the valves are equal in size, but it is inequitable. If you draw a line from the center of the umbo, then it will divide it into two unequal halves. Okay, this is small one, this one is larger one. So it is called equivalent but inequilateral. Then comes to internal structure of the pelecypod. So the dorsal margin of the cell can be marked by an elevated or protruded part known as umbo, and the sharp point of it is called beak. So, so in case of brachiopod, the umbo is present on the posterior side, but here in case of pelecypod, the umbo is present on the push dorsal margin. So here this part is called dorsal. Then opposite to it is ventral. Okay, and this part is posterior, and here it is anterior. Here you can say this one is posterior, this one is anterior. This is dorsal, this is ventral. Understood? Then in Pelecypod, both the valves are closed by means of adductor muscles and open with the help of ligament. जेहेतु दुईटा valve अच्छे से open और close करेंगे. In case of brachiopods, ସେମାନେ କଣ ହଉଥିଲେ ନା closed with the help of adductor muscles and open in case of divaricator or deductor muscle. But here it is closed with the help of adductor muscles but open with the help of ligament. Both in muscles, these muscles are seldom pre-shock and only muscle impression are seen on the same. तो ଯେତେବେଳେ କଣ ହେଇଥାଏ ନା ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମ ଡେଡ୍ ହେଇଥାଏ ସେତେବେଳେ କଣ ଥାଏ ଯୋଉ ମସଲ୍ସ ଗୁଡା ଥାଏ ସେମାନେ କଣ ହେଲା ନା ସେଲରେ ଇମ୍ପ୍ରେସନ ଛାଡି ଦେଇଥାନ୍ତି ତ ଏହାକୁ କହନ୍ତି ମସଲ୍ସ ଇମ୍ପ୍ରେସନ ଆଉ ମସଲ୍ସ ସ୍କାର ତ ଏଇ ମସଲ୍ସ ଯୋଉ ସ୍କାର ପ୍ରିଜର୍ଭ ହେଇକି ରହିଯାଇଥାଏ ତ ଆମେ ମସଲ୍ସ ସ୍କାରରୁ ବହୁତ ଜିନିଷ ଖେଳିବାକୁ ପାଉ ତ in case of muscle impression these pelecypods are categorized into diamyrian or monomyrian. In case of monomyrian, only one muscle impression is present, which is on in the posterior side. But in case of diamyrian, this muscle impression, two muscle impression are generally present. So, ତୁମେ जो पेलेसिपोड पाइब जदि तुम कौन कर गोटे ही मसल इम्प्रेशन पाच आउ सेटा भी पुणी पोस्टेरियर साइड रे ताऊ कौन कहला ना मोनोमायरियन कहला जदि दुईटा मसल प्रेजेंट अच्छे देन ताऊ कौन कहला ना डायमायरियन पुणी डायमायरियन को पुणी फर्दर डिवाइड करा है इनटू एन आइसोमायरियन एंड आइसोमायरियन एंड अनआइसोमायरियन तो आइसोमेरियन में कौन है ना जो मसल इम्प्रेशन अच्छे तो दुईटा आपको कौन थी ना इक्वल साइज बट इन केस ऑफ अनआइसोमेरियन पोस्टीरियर साइड जो मसल्स अच्छे सेटा कौन थी ना लार्जर थी तो पोस्टीरियर साइड मसल्स का इन जनरली लार्जर दिस पोस्टीरियर तो एक पार्ट कौन थी ना लार्जर थी So example मन रखो मोनोमायर में example है pecten, ostrea, lichia, exuvaria. But in case of isomeria, diameria, in case of isomeria it is venous, and in case of anisomeria, mutinous. Example you have to remember. So the ligament present are structurally divided into three types. One is alveolar, multivincular, and paravincular. So, in case of alveolar, only single strand of ligament is present. But in case of multivincular, it consists of a bundle of ligament. And in case of paravincular, the ligament are arranged in a semicylindrical shape. So, I'm calling na adductor जो valve थिला ସେମାନେ कौन करथिले ना open with the help of ligament तापर से ligament जो present थिला सेटा पुनी कौन ना जो single strand थिला ताको कौन कहते ना alveolar then जदि bundle of थिले तो कहबे then comes to if these ligaments is arranged in a hemicylindrical fashion it is called paravincle. Then comes to position of the ligament. According to the position of the ligament, there are three types. Posodentic, if the ligament is present on the anterior side of the beak, example, venous, if the ligament is present on the posterior side of the beak, it is called what? Opistodating, and yeah, and If the ligament is present on the either side of the beak or umbo, it is called amperating. Yeah, you can say that if this ligament is present on the anterior side, it is called posteritic. If on the posterior side, it is called opistomatic, and if present on the both side, it is called amperate. Then these adductor muscles of the valves are generally joined by a line which is called pallial line. And when the pallial line is parallel to the margin of the valve, it is called intergi palliata. And however, it is not always parallel. Sometimes there is a sinus developed. Sinus is developed. And this sinus is called sympalata. Yeah. This is a pallial line. So if it is entirely parallel to the margin, then what is called? If this parallel line is entirely parallel to the margin, then it is called intergipalliata. But in many of the cases, there is a sinus present here. You can clearly see that there is a sinus here. Here there is a sinus. Then, in case of sinus is present, then it is called what? Sympalate. And if this sinus is present towards the posterior side, then it is called pallial sinus. But if the sinus is present in the anterior side, then it is called pedal sinus. ଯଦି କହିଥିବ ନା ଏଇ ସାଇନସଟା anterior side ରେ present ଥିବ, then ତାକୁ କ'ଣ କରିବା ନା anterior side କଲେ ନା posterior side କଲେ. So anterior side it is pedal, and if it is present on the posterior side, it is called parallel sinus. Then according to the pointing direction of the umbo or beak, pelecypods are categorized into prosogyral or prosocline. If in case of prosogyral and prosocline, the umbo generally point towards the anterior side. Okay, here you can say that this is anterior side, this is posterior side. So anterior, posterior. Here you can say that the umbo is pointing towards the anterior side, and here the umbo is pointing towards the posterior side. So if the umbo is pointing towards the anterior side, it is called prosogyral or prosocline. If it is pointing towards the posterior side, it is called opistogyral or ophistocline. And if the pointing at, if the umbo is pointing towards each other, then it is called what? It is called orthogyre or agline. Then sometimes the umbo is curved shape, and in this case it is called spira. Or in case of spira, the umbo curved towards the center of the earth. Here you can see that the umbo is in the curve form. So it is called spiral. comes to dentition of pelecypods. So the valves of the pelecypod bears a tooth and socket mechanism. ଯେମିତି tooth socket ଭିତରେ ପଶିବେ ତ ସେମିତି କଣ ନା ଏଠି ବି ସେ mechanism ଅଛି tooth and socket mechanisms. The tooth of one valve generally fits into the socket of opposite valve. ଏମିତି ତ pin जो 3 pin ରେ plug କରା ତ generally ତ similar mechanisms. ଗୋଟେ valve ରେ କଣ ଥିବ tooth ଥିବ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ରେ socket ଥିବ ସେମାନେ କଣ କରିବେ ନା fit ହେଇଯିବେ. So generally two types of teeth are observed in the pelecypods. One is called cardinal teeth and another one is called lateral teeth. तो तुम्हें ये देखिପାରିବ so generally ଏଇଟା ହେଲା cardinal teeth. साइड ରେ ଯୋଉଟା ଥିବ ତ କଣ କହନ୍ତି ନା lateral teeth. ଏଠି ଯୋଉ ସେଣ୍ଟର ରେ ଥାଏ ତ କୋଉ cardinal teeth ସାଇଡ ଗୁଡାରେ lateral teeth. ଏଠି ଯୋଉ ଦେଖୁଛ ଏଟା cardinal ସାଇଡ ଗୁଡାରେ lateral teeth. The cardinal teeth on the hinge plate occurring below the womb bone and its long axes are perpendicular to the hinge plate. तो तुम एठी देखि परिबो एटा ना hinge टाइम टा जोठी कि दुईटा भेल कोन करंती जॉइंट हेइतांती आ एटा कोडी अछि को साइड रे अछि पेलिसिपोड को womb then the lateral teeth on the hinge plate occur laterally and anterior in the anterior posterior direction. Its long axes are nearly parallel to the hinge line. The lateral teeth जो थे the direction में थे anterior posterior. Based on the arrangement of the teeth, various types of dentitions are seen in the pelecypods. One of them are called taxodon. So, in case of taxodon, hinge plates are characterized by numerous identical serrated teeth and socket. So, here it is the hinge line, which consists of numerous serrated teeth and socket. Example: arca, infila, and glycoids. Then, scissor. Scissor consists of sharply diverging teeth, cardinal and lateral. Yeah, it is. You can see these are cardinal and yeah, it is lateral teeth. And both the cardinal and lateral teeth are diverging in nature. Yeah, you can see that these are diverging in nature. And these are generally often bifurcated. Example, linear and trigonal. Cardinal teeth ଅଛି both cardinal ଆଉ lateral teeth ମଧ୍ୟ ନା diverge ହେଇଥାନ୍ତି in case of scissurodont. Then isodont. So isodont consists of two large sub-equal teeth and socket, cardinal in position. Generally, two sub-equal ଦେଖିପାରିବ teeth and socket. Here are teeth and here it is socket. You can see that here the teeth is generally fitting into the socket position. So these are the teeth and sockets are cardinal in position. Example spondylus and pecten. देखा होचे दिना teeth अच्छे ସେମାନେ କଣ ନା socket ଭିତରେ fit ହେଇଯାଇଛନ୍ତି. These are sub equal in size. Then comes to desmoid. In case of desmoid, teeth highly reduced or may even absent, but the accessory structure present for articulation of the verbs. General teeth कौन है ना reduced है where कौन है ना absent है in case of desmoid, where you can say the teeth is highly reduced. The example are pholas and minas. In case of Diasodon, two identical lateral teeth present. Here you can see that two identical lateral teeth are present. Then comes to Pachyodont. Here teeth are large, grooved and blunt. Epiroids and cavity. Teeth are generally reduced here. You can see that large grooved here. There is grooves is present and these are generally blunt. Then comes to heterodont. So remember this is very important. Heterodont shows the most advanced type of dentition, which consists of well-developed cardinal and lateral teeth. Here you can see that cardinal teeth. This is the cardinal teeth, and these are lateral teeth. Can you see? And these both the cardinal and lateral teeth are well developed. Example, carina and hens. The heterodontre कौन थिबो ना most advanced type of dentition थिबो और both cardinal और lateral teeth कौन थिबो ना well developed थिबो तुमको देख जଣା पड़छि can you see this one is cardinal teeth जोटा कि hinge ରୁ कौन होछि ना develop ହେଇछि perpendicular ହେଇକି और side ରେ lateral see that cardinal and these are lateral teeth. Then comes to anomalodon. In case of anomalodon, two teeth and sockets are absent. Example, alorisma. In case of pantodont, intermediate between the pantodont is intermediate between cyclodont and heterodont, and there is the form called edentulous or paleoconcha, which lacks teeth of any kind. Example, lemur and Ichthys. This is important. Edentulous, which lacks teeth of any kind, means both cardinal and lateral teeth is generally absent. Visual dentition. Then comes to ornamentation. So ornamentation consists of both growth lines on the surface of the cell. Besides that, other ornamental features are observed which consist of spine, poste, cricket structure. Generally, if it is growth lines will be present like this. Spines, spinal structure. And poste means the ridges are called poste. So, when it comes to ecology, the Pelecypod shows various, it can be present in various ecological conditions. Cardita and Arca general bear epibone or benthic forms. Sirena and Diversella are inpolar shallow burrowing forms. Maya and Solents are generally inpolar and deep burrowing. Free swimming or viscous attached epigonals are pecten. Viscous attachment is rather a temporary nature, so it can consider to have both the forms. Okay, boring form in case of boring forms, Colas is called what? Rock borer, while Teredo is called wood borer. So, the geological history of pelecypods. So, they first appeared during Lower Cambrian and expansion began in Ordovician. So, Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, and then Permian. The first started appeared in Lower Cambrian and their expansion began in Ordovician. Many marine species got extinct during Permian because of PT or Permian Triassic mass extinction during Permian Triassic period. Some species survived and diversified in Triassic and got extinct during Cretaceous, that is Cretaceous Tertiary mass extinction. Example Trigonia, Quicia and Exobera. तो जनरली मिक्स्ड कुछ बहुत स्पेसीज कौन ଥିଲା ନା ପିଟି ମିକ୍ସ ପରମାନେଣ୍ଟ ଟ୍ରାଇସିକ୍ ମାସ୍ ଏକ୍ସଟିଂକ୍ସନ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ରେ ତାଙ୍କର ଏକ୍ସଟିଂକ୍ଟ ହେଇଯାଇଥିଲେ କିନ୍ତୁ ସ୍ପେସିସ୍ ଲାଇକ୍ ଟ୍ରାଇଗୋନିଆ ଭିଫେ ଏକ୍ସୋଗେରା ସର୍ଭାଇଭ୍ କରିଯାଇଥିଲେ ପୁଣି ସେମାନେ ଯେତେବେଳକୁ କ୍ରେଟାସିୟସ୍ ଟର୍ସିୟରୀ ମାସ୍ ଏକ୍ସଟିଂକ୍ସନ୍ ଆସିଲା ସେତେବେଳକୁ ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ କରିଥିଲେ ନା ଏକ୍ସଟିଂକ୍ଟ ହେଇଥିଲେ ଇନ୍ ସେନୋଜୋଇକ୍ the abundance increases with appearance of modern day form. ତ ଏବେ ଯେତିକି modern day form ଅଛନ୍ତି pelecypods Triassic timeରେ Cenozoic timeରେ ସେମାନଙ୍କର abundance increase କରିଥିଲା ତ କିଛି ଆମକୁ କ'ଣ ନା index fossils ମିଳେ ତ what is index fossils କିଏ କହିପାରିବ ତ in case of first form older form କ'ଣ ଥାଏ ନା flat foot ଥିଲେ ଆଉ thick equilateral cell ଥିଲେ ତ ଆମେ ଏବେ ପଢ଼ନ୍ତୁ ଯେ the term pelecypods comes from the word block shaped foot or flaky shaped foot means these are not flat ଆଉ ପୁଣି ଆମେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ଯେ these are equivalent but inequilateral କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ଏଠୁ ଜାଣିଲେ ଯେ କେମିତି କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ older forms flat foot ଥିଲେ ତା ସହିତ equilateral cell ଥିଲେ ସେମାନେ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଥିଲେ କିନ୍ତୁ ସେମାନେ ଯେହେତୁ ସେମାନେ କିଛି ଫ୍ଲାଟ୍ ଫୁଟ୍ ଥିଲା କିମ୍ବା ଆଉ ଇକ୍ୱିଲେଟରାଲ ଥିଲେ ସେମାନେ ସେଟା ହେଲ୍ପ କରୁନଥିଲା ବୋରୋଇଂ ହେବିଟେଟ୍ ପାଇଁ ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ କରୁଥିଲେ ହୋଇପାରୁନଥିଲେ ତ ଫଳରେ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କ'ଣ କରିଲା ନା animals developed block shape to help them to burrow. Then the cell got elongated in dorsoventral direction and reduced in anterior posterior direction. तो সেই टाइम में ଯେତେ folks ଧୀରେ ସେମାନେ ବୋରିଂ habitat create କଲେ ତ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ତାଙ୍କର ୟୁଜ୍ ବିକଜ ଅଫ୍ ଦ ୟୁଜ୍ ଅଫ୍ ପ୍ଲଗ୍ ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା ଡୋର୍ସୋଭେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ ଡିରେକ୍ସନରେ ତାଙ୍କର ଭେଣ୍ଟ୍ରାଲ ଓ ଡୋର୍ସାଲ ଡିରେକ୍ସନରେ ତାଙ୍କର ଏଲଙ୍ଗେଟେଡ୍ ହେଲା ଆଉ ଆଣ୍ଟେରିୟର ପୋଷ୍ଟେରିୟର ଡିରେକ୍ସନରେ ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ ନା ଅପରେଷ୍ଟ ହେଇଗଲେ ବୁଝିଲେ ଦେନ୍ modification associated with viscous. So the earlier form had two lines, the line forming the two adductor impressions and hinge line, and they almost parallel to each other. तो कौन था दुईटा लाइन थे गोटे था hinge line ଆଉ adductor muscle को ଯେତେବେଳକୁ ଯୋଉଟା attach କରି ଯୋଉ ଲାଇନ୍ ସେଟା with time the anterior muscles disintegrate under heavy burden and posterior adductor muscles assumes subcentral position. So first कौन था just imagine that his time I pallium posterior or anterior direction ଆମର ଦିଟା muscle impression ଥାଏ earlier form ରେ କଣ ଥିଲା ନା ଏଇଟା କିଛି କଣ ଥିଲା muscle impression ଯୋଉଥିଲା ହେଇଥିଲା ସେମାନେ parallel ହେଇକି ଥିଲେ to each other କିନ୍ତୁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଟାଇମ୍ କହୁଛି କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ଭିତରେ ସବୁ ଅର୍ଗାନ୍ସ ଅଛି ତ ତାଙ୍କ ବଡ଼ ହେଲେ କ'ଣ ହବ time the anterior muscles disintegrate जो anterior muscles ଥିବ ସେ କ'ଣ ହବ ନା disintegrate due to the overburden and the posterior adductor muscles the assume जो posterior ଅଛି ସେ କ'ଣ କରିବ ନା subcentral position ଧରିବ तो এই पोजीशन में କ'ଣ ହବ ना hinge line और adductor line तो এই जो adductor line hinge line ଅଛି adductor line जो ଅଛି ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ କରିବେ ନା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ with time perpendicular ହେଇଯିବ जो parallel ଥିଲେ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କ'ଣ ହବ ଆମର ସେମାନେ perpendicular ହେଇଯିବ ବୁଝିଲେ then comes to modification associated with cementation. So the earlier standing and equivalent animal fell on one valve and lower valve assumes cup-like shape. First आगरू कौन होता जो standing suppose organism टेंसिस क्या आएगी standing position में अच्छी तो से कौन हला ना खसी पड़ा तो वो खसी पड़ गई से कौन करियो ना एमती गोटे जो लोअर वेल्व थी वो सपोज एटा लोअर वेल्व गोटे कौन ना कप लाइक पोजीशन अटेंड कर छिबो या कप लाइक शेप अटेंड करियो तो से ई जे जहाँ भी सब पार्ट थी वो से कौन एना कप शेप वेल्व रे को पड़े आछिबो एंड जो अपर वेल्व थी गोटे लीड टाइप रो काम दबो तो ପରେ କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିଲା ନା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଇକ୍ୱିଭ୍ୟାଲେଣ୍ଟ ଥିଲେ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ସେମାନେ ଇନ୍ଇକ୍ୱିଭ୍ୟାଲେଣ୍ଟ କଣ୍ଡିସନକୁ ପରେ ହେଉଛି କନଭର୍ଟ ହେଇଯାଇଥିଲା ପର ଷ୍ଟେଜରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ୱିଥ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ जो ଫାଷ୍ଟ କ'ଣ ଥିଲେ ସେମାନେ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କ'ଣ ହେଉଛି ଇନ୍ଇକ୍ୱିଭ୍ୟାଲେଣ୍ଟ ପୋଜିସନକୁ ପଳେଇ ଆସିଥିଲେ ଯେହେତୁ ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ ଷ୍ଟାଣ୍ଡିଂ ପୋଜିସନରେ ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ କଲେ ନା ପଡ଼ିଗଲେ ସବ୍ ପାର୍ଟସ୍ ତଳକୁ ପଳେଇ ଆସିଲା ये ଗୋଟେ କପ୍ ଲାଇକ୍ ସେପ୍ କ୍ରିଏଟ୍ କଲା ଆଉ ଉପରେ ବଲ୍ଟା ଟ୍ୟୁବ୍ ଟାଇପ୍ର ସେପ୍ ଆଜିବ୍ ओके तो तुम्हारा the trilobite belongs to the phylum Arthropoda subphylum Trilobitomorpha class Trilobite okay so nothing important just nothing remember phylum Arthropoda subphylum Trilobitomorpha and class Trilobite. These trilobites are generally extinct in nature and lifespan in Paleozoic era only. तो ये कोई परिबो जेहेतु सेमानक लाइफ स्पान केवल Paleozoic रे हितला तो कैम्ब्रियन स्टार्ट हितले आ पोलमेन ट्राइक्सिक मास एक्सटेंशन रे ताको पूरा एक्सटेंड हितले तो जनरली these are extinct there is no present or present so these are benthic animals and this generally fed on small organisms and bottom debris. Thus, bottom debris means sediments to sea surface रे माने जो bottom sediments जो sediments जो थाए सेठू से कौन कौन ना फीड करते small organisms and they crawl and swim along the bottom side. तो समुद्र तले जो शेड्यूल थाए से कौन करता है स्विम करते वाटर को टॉप सरफेस को आसते नहीं ସେମାନେ ତଳେ ତଳେ ହିଁ ବଟମ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଦ ୱାଟରରେ ହିଁ ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ କରନ୍ତି ସ୍ୱିମ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ କ୍ରୋଲ୍ କରନ୍ତି ତ body is comes to morphology of the trilobita cell. The body is divided into three parts in anterior posterior direction that is called as lobes and thus the name trilobita. So anterior posterior it है एक anterior side ये है posterior side जो anterior posterior direction है ताको तीनटा पार्ट डिवाइड करा है जहाँ कहती lobes बा तीनटा lobes So that's why it is called trilobita, three lobes. One is central or axial lobe, this part, and two side or pleural lobes. The side বা pleural lobes ବୁଝିଲ anterior direction ରେ ତାର ତିନିଟା lobes divide କରାଯାଇଛି ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା axial lobe ଦୁଇଟା pleural lobe ବୁଝିଲ that's why it is called trilobita axial side ରୁ ହେଲା pleural ଗୋଟେ axial ଦୁଇଟା pleural then three division in transverse section ये जो ट्रांसवर्स सेक्शन है ताऊ कौन करा है ना तीनटा डिवीजन करा है one is cephalon by head 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 plus F1 cephalon thorax second third टा है PGD बुझे तो anterior posterior direction है गोटे एक्सियल लोब दुईटा प्लूरल लोब और ट्रांसवर्स सेक्शन है गोटे ला हेड गोटे thorax और PGD बुझे then comes to carapace तो आम जानते गोटे ह्यूमन जो गोटे ह्यूमन को ठिया कर towards the mouth it is anterior towards the anus posterior front side like where chest is present it is called what ventral and opposite towards the back it is called dorsal side similarly here it is anterior here it is posterior the front side is called ventral and the back side is called dorsal. In the back side, means in the dorsal side, a calcareous exoskeleton is present. That is called carapace. तो कैल्शियम का कुछ जो एक्सोस्केलेटन ଅଛି ତା କାମ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା ପ୍ରୋଟେକ୍ଟ କରିବ ତ ସିମିଲାରଲି ତୁମେ ଦେଖିଥିବ ଯେ କଙ୍କଡ଼ା ହଉ କିମ୍ବା ଟର୍ଟଲ ହୁଅନ୍ତୁ ତାଙ୍କ ଯୋଉ ହାର୍ଡ କଭରଟା କୋଉଠି ନା ପିଠି ସାଇଡରେ ଥାଏ ତାର ବ୍ୟାକ୍ ସାଇଡ କ'ଣ ପାଇଁ ନା ପ୍ରୋଟେକ୍ସନ ପାଇଁ ସିମିଲାରଲି ସେଇ ଟାଇପର ୟାର ବି ବ୍ୟାକ୍ ସାଇଡ ବା ଡୋର୍ସାଲ ସାଇଡରେ ଗୋଟେ କ୍ୟାଲକୁଲେସ୍ ଏକ୍ସୋସ୍କେଲେଟନ ଥିଲା ତାକୁ କହନ୍ତି କ୍ୟାରାପାସ୍ तो इमेजिन କରିପାରୁଥିବ ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମଟା କେମିତି ଅଛି ଏଟା ହେଡ୍ ଏଟା ଥୋରାକ୍ସ ଏଟା ହେଲା ପିଜିଡି ଏଟା ହେଲା ଏକ୍ସିଆଲ ଲୋବ୍ ସାଇଡ୍ ଦିଟା ହେଲା ପ୍ଲୁରାଲ ଲୋବ୍ ओके ଏଟା ହେଲା ଆଣ୍ଟେରିୟର ସାଇଡ୍ ହେଡ୍ ସାଇଡ୍ ଏଟା ହେଲା ପୋଷ୍ଟେରିୟର ସାଇଡ୍ ପିଜିଡିୟମ ହେଲା ଯୋଉଟା କି ପଛ ସାଇଡ୍ ଯୋଉ ଟେଲ୍ ଥାଏ ତାକୁ କହନ୍ତି ପିଜିଡିୟମ then comes to cephalon part or head part the part covering the head is called cephalic shield the cephalon by head को cover करके जो part ଅଛି ତାକୁ କହନ୍ତି cephalic shield just like ଆମ head ନା ଆମ skull ଆମର କ'ଣ ଆଉଟର କଭରିଂ ନାହିଁ ନା ଯଦି ଆମେ ହେଡ୍ ଗୋଟେ ହେଲମେଟ୍ ଟାଇପ୍ ଅଫ୍ ବୁଝି ପାରୁନତେ ଏକ୍ସୋସ୍କେଲେଟନ୍ ଆମ ପାଖରେ ଥାନ୍ତା ଯଦି ଆମେ ହେଲମେଟ୍ ପିନ୍ଧନ୍ତି ସେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସୋସ୍କେଲେଟନ୍ ଯଦି ଥାନ୍ତା ତାକୁ ଆମେ କ'ଣ କରିଥାନ୍ତେ ନା ସେପ୍ଲିକ୍ ସିଲ୍ଡ କହିଥାନ୍ତେ हेड को से प्रोटेक्ट କରୁଛି तो सिमिलरली इन केस ऑफ टाइलोइड्स हेड को जो एक्सोस्केलेटन पार्ट प्रोटेक्ट କରୁଛି ତାକୁ କହନ୍ତି ସେପ୍ଟିକ୍ ସିଲ୍ଡ and this is part towards the posterior and semicircular towards the anterior side तो जो सेप्टिक सिल्ड ଅଛି semicircular towards anterior side and flat towards posterior side similarly ଏଠି ଦେଖିପାରିବ ଏଟା ହେଲା ସେଫ୍ଲନ୍ ବା ହେଡ୍ याको कवर कर जो आउटर टर्म कौन थी ना सेप्टिक सिल्ड पूरा कवर करिछि हेड को जो एक्सोस्केलेटन टा आउ ए एक्सोस्केलेटन ना एंटीरियर साइड रे सेमी सर्कुलर से देख परछो आ पोस्टीरियर साइड रे इज अ स्ट्रेट और पैरेलल इन सेम then distinguished by median that is called glabella and lateral called cheek ये जो सेप्टिक सेल टा ଅଛି ମଝି ପଟା ହେଲା କହନ୍ତି glabella ଆଉ ସାଇଡ୍ ପାର୍ଟ କଣ କହନ୍ତି ନା cheek ସେଲ୍ they are divided ଏଠି ସେମିତି ଦେଖିପାରିବ this is glabella ଆଉ ସାଇଡ୍ ଟା ହେଲା cheek କୋଉଟା? ହଁ ବା ଚିକ୍ଟା ପ୍ଲୁରାଲ ନାଉନ୍ ରେ କହିପାରିବ ତମେ। ଚିକ୍ଟା like this glabella is composed of three lobes on each side, which is called glabellar lobes, and transversely divided into glabellar furrows. Transversely କଣ ହେଇଛି ନା glabellar furrows ଅଛି ଏଇଟା। So the glabella is composed of three lobes on each side, which is called glabellar lobes, and transversely ସେ କଣ ହେଇଥାଏ ନା divided into glabella divided by glabellar furrows. Glabellar furrows द्वारा ସେମାନେ କଣ ଥିବେ ନା divide ହେଇଥିବେ. The cheeks are more or less triangular divides and divided by facial suture named free cheek or division or fixture or fixation. तो ଏଇଟାର କୁହନ୍ତି facial suture ଯୋଉଟାକୁ କଣ ଯୋଉ କରେ ନା cheek କୁ divide କରେ ଆଉ ଯୋଉ ପାର୍ଟଟା କଣ ଥାଏ ନା fix ଥାଏ ତାକୁ କୁହନ୍ତି fixation and this side part is not fixed which is movable, it is called leveraging. This is lavella full. Then comes to eyes. Then comes to eye. The eyes are generally compound, conical in shape and located one on each lip region at an angle made with facial sutures. So, ଯେତେବେଳେ lip region ହେଲା lip region और ହେଲା facial suture तो ଏଇ ଯୋଉ angle ପାଖକୁ made ହେଇଛି ଯଦି angle ହେଇଛି lip region ଆଉ facial suture ପାଖରେ ସେଠି କଣ ଅଛି ନା eye region ଅଛି ଏଇଠି ଦେଖିପାରୁଛ ହେଲା excision ମଝିଟା ସାଇଡ୍ ହେଲା lip region facial suture जो angle made କରୁଛି ଏଠି କଣ ଅଛି ନା eye ଅଛି तो eye को cover କରିକି କଣ ଅଛି ନା cornea the cornea is the transparent chitinous covering of an eye. Eye को cover करे जो part ଅଛି ତାକୁ କୁହନ୍ତି cornea. And eyes may not be present in case of agnostosis and microdiscus. तो agnostosis और microdiscus जो variety ଅଛି ସେଠି eye present ନ ଥାଇପାରେ ବୁଝିଲେ ତ eye କୁ different type of divide କରାଯାଇଛି ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା holocron eye. In case of holocron eye, the holocron eye generally found nearly in all orders. The consist of few to very many lenses, that is more than 15,000 lenses भी थाईपारे और जो लेंस ଥାଏ typically small ଆଉ numerous ମେଞ୍ଚେ ଥାଏ ଏଠି ଦେଖିପାରୁଛ ଏଠି numerous small କଣ ଅଛି ନା lenses ଅଛି ଆଉ ଏଇ ସବୁ ଯୋଉ lenses ଗୁଡାକୁ cover କରି ଗୋଟେ ହିଁ cornea ଥାଏ the only one corneal layer covers all the lenses ଆଉ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ lenses ଅଛି ସେମାନେ କଣ ଥାନ୍ତି ନା are directly in contact with each other ସେମାନେ ପରସ୍ପର ସହିତ କଣ୍ଟାକ୍ଟ କରିଥିବେ ଆଉ ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ କୌଣସି ସ୍କ୍ଲେରା ନଥିବ ସ୍କ୍ଲେରା ହେଲା ଗୋଟେ ଡିଭାଇଡ୍ ଯୋଉଟାକି ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ଡିଭିଜନ ନାହିଁ ସେମାନେ ଟଚ୍ ହେଇକି ଅଛନ୍ତି ପରସ୍ପର ଏହାକୁ କୁହନ୍ତି ହଲୋକଲ୍ସ ଆର୍ ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି ଏଠି କ୍ଲିୟରଲି ଯେ ଯୋଉ କନ୍ୟା ଗୁଡା ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ଯୋଉ ଲେନ୍ସ ଗୁଡା ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ କଣ୍ଟାକ୍ଟ ହେଇକି ଅଛନ୍ତି ପରସ୍ପର ସହିତ କଣ୍ଟାକ୍ଟରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ କୌଣସି ଡିଭାଇଡ୍ ବା ସ୍କ୍ଲେରା ନାହିଁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ହିଁ କର୍ନିଆଲ ଲେୟାର କଣ ହଉଛି ନା ସବୁ ଲେନ୍ସେସକୁ କଭର କରିଛି this is called holochrome then comes to schizochrome then these are not present in all the form found in some Phacopoda only, typically consist of fewer lenses. In case of holochromes, numerous lenses are present, but in case of only few lenses are present, up to 700. That is more than 15,000 in case of holocaust, but here it is for only near to 700. Lenses are much larger. In case of holocron, the lenses are smaller and numerous, but here lenses are much larger and fewer in number. And each lenses bear individual cornea. ସେଠି ସବୁ lenses को cover କରିକି ଗୋଟେ cornea ଥିଲା, ଗୋଟେ ହିଁ outer covering ଥିଲା. ଏଠି କିନ୍ତୁ each cornea को cover କରିବା ପାଇଁ separate lenses ଅଛି. Separately cornea ଅଛି each lenses को cover କରିବା ପାଇଁ. And in case of cerebral eye, sclera present between the lenses, which is like sclera is the divide between two lenses, and here the sclera is very deep. If देखो दीटा lenses अच्छे दीटा lenses भीतर जो depression अच्छे जो जहाँ divide करछे दीटा lenses को तब होती sclera. Here if देख पार्छो the lenses गोटे lenses को divide करछे sclera. And this corneal membrane generally extend towards the sclera, into the sclera. ये जो corneal membrane अच्छी ये covering करता है से कौन करे ना से sclera भीतर को पहुँचे थे extending into the sclera. Example like cuffs and redoubts. Then another form is Amathophora, which is found in Cambria Eudicina only. This is very important. Only present in the Cambrian form. Lenses are very few, up to 70 only. Lenses size is small, not numerous. In case of Shizokura, the lenses size are larger, but here it is few and the lenses size is small, and each lens bears an individual cornea. Like in Shizokura, it will be individual lens को cover करके individual cornea है, and lenses are separated from each other. And एटी कौन था ना जो sclera था एटी तुमने देख पार्छो sclera is deeper, but here the sclera is not deeper. बुझियो ना? Then comes to facial suture. तो facial suture कौन थिला? So molting is the process in which the organisms released its old exoskeleton and form a new exoskeleton. And these facial sutures are lines on the cephalon along which the parts of the cephalon separate when the trilobites molds. तो ଯେତେବେଳକୁ ଟ୍ରାଇଲୋବାଇଟ୍ ମୋଲ୍ଡ କରିବ କିଛି ପାର୍ଟ ଅଫ୍ ଦ ସେପ୍ରମ୍ ଏ ଯେଉଁ ସେପ୍ରିକ୍ ସିଲ୍ଠୁ ହିଁ ଅଲଗା ହୁଅନ୍ତି. ତ ଏସବୁ ଫେସିଆଲ୍ ସୁଚର ସେପ୍ରିକ୍ ସିଲ୍ ଫେସିଆଲ୍ ସୁଚର ଅଲଗା ହୁଅନ୍ତି. So trilobites as arthropods grew by shedding their old rigid exoskeleton in a process called ecdysis or molting. तो कोई molting है पुराना ଯେତେବେଳକୁ old rigid exoskeleton को ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ରିଲିଜ୍ କରିବେ कौन पे रिलीज करते ना ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗ୍ରୋ କରନ୍ତି ସପୋଜ ଏକ୍ସୋସ୍କେଲେଟନ୍ ର ହାର୍ଡ ପାର୍ଟଟା ସେ ତ ସାଇଜରେ ବଢିବନି ଫର୍ମ ହେଇଗଲା ତାପରେ ସେ କଣ ଯେମିତିକା ଆମର ସ୍କେଲେଟନ୍ ହଉଛନ୍ତି ସ୍କିନ୍ ଗ୍ରୋ କରେ ଆମେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ହ୍ୟୁମାନ୍ ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମ୍ସ ଗ୍ରୋ କରେ ତା ସହିତ ଆମ ସ୍କିନ୍ ବି ଗ୍ରୋ କରେ କିନ୍ତୁ ଯେହେତୁ ଏକ୍ସୋସ୍କେଲେଟନ୍ଟା ଗୋଟେ ସାଇଜର ହାର୍ଡ ପାର୍ଟଟା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମ୍ସ ଭିତରେ ଗ୍ରୋ କରୁଛି ଆଉ ଆଉଟର ପାର୍ଟଟା କଣ ଅଛି ना ग्रो କରିବନି ତ ସେ କଣ କରିବ ନା ୱିଥ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ ସେ ଆଉ ସେଟ୍ କରିଦେବ ପୁଣି ଆଉଟର ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ଏକ୍ସୋସ୍କେଲେଟନ୍ ଡେଭଲପ୍ এই ପ୍ରୋସେସଟା କୁହନ୍ତି ecdysis ବା molting. They typically run from somewhere along the anterior edge of the cephalon towards the and around the edge of the arm and continue for there to the end at either side or rear of the cephalon. तो जो फेशियल सुचर अच्छे से कौन होता है ना एंटीरियर साइड रो स्टार्ट होता है रन करते हैं को आई रो एज दे की टुवर्ड्स द बॉडी ना आइदर towards the either side or rear of the cephalon. तो ଏଠି ଦେଖିପାରିବ anterior cell start ହେଲା margin of the eye ରୁ ଗଲା it କଣ ହେଇଛି ନା towards the both side ଯାଇଛି ନହେଲେ towards the end of the towards the back of the cephalon ବି ଯାଇପାରିବ ତ ଏଇଟାର ସେଟ୍ କୁ ନେଇକି different division କରାଯାଇଛି. Five main types of suture lines are identified: protoparian, hypoparian, opistoparian, proparian, and gonadoparian. ଏଇଟା ହେଲା example of egg disease বা molting process. ତ ଏଠି କ'ଣ ଅଛି ନା ଭିତରେ ହେଲା organism ସହିତ ଏଇଟା ହେଲା ତାର outer covering বা cephalic shield. The exoskeleton, not cell separation, is the total is the exoskeleton. धीरे धीरे कौन होचे ना जो ऑर्गेनिज्म છે ତା ସାଇଜ ବଢିଛି ଫଳରେ ତ ଆଉଟର ଯୋଉ ଏକ୍ସୋସ୍କେଲେଟନ ବ୍ରେକ୍ କରିଛି ଦେନ୍ ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମ୍ସ ବାହାର କରାଯାଇଛି ପୁଣି ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ଗୋଟେ ଏକ୍ସୋସ୍କେଲେଟନ ଡେଭଲପ ହେବ ପ୍ରୋସେସ କହନ୍ତି ମୋଲ୍ଟିଂ. Then comes to protoparian. In case of protoparian, the facial suture is entirely marginal to the cephalic shield. Example, coniolepus. In case of hypoparian, it is similar with protoparian, but here in this case the eyes are absent. In case of hypoparian, agnostos and microdiscos. Remember the example. Protoparian में कौन थी वो ना जो cephalic facial suture थी वो cephalic shield को entirely parallel नहीं कि marginal to the cephalic shield. In case of hypoparian, it is similar with propoparian, but here in this case eyes are absent. Example, microdiscus and agnostos. In case of ophistoparian, suture line starts from the posterior margin below the ginal angle and present on the top. Example, paradoxals. In case of proparian, suture line starts from the posterior lateral margin and ends at the anterior lateral margin. Here you can see that this here it is the you can see that this is proparian. This is starting from the posterior. It is the posterior part. It is the anterior part. The posterior lateral margin start होइछे, then ends the anterior lateral margin. बुझला? Then ophistoparian. Here the suture line starts from the posterior margin below the ginal angle and present on the top. In case of ophistoparian, ଏଠି ଦେଖିପାରିବ ତମେ ophistoparian ନା ଏଟା ହେଲା ginal angle below the ginal angle start होइछे and ending at the anterior margin. Proparian, ophistoparian, then comes to gonadoparian. So here the suture line starts from the ginal angle and ends at the anterior lateral margin. Here it is gonadoparian. It is anterior. It is called ginal angle ରୁ ବାହାରିଛି and ending at the anterior margin. Here gonadoparian. Starting from the ginal angle. ये जो angle ଟା ପାର୍ଟଟା ଅଛି ତାକୁ କୁହନ୍ତି ginal angle. ମନେ ରହିଲା? Proparian, ophistoparian and gonadoparian. Proparian ने कौन ना anterior posterior margin में आके anterior margin रे सरीगला. Then gonadoparian ने कौन ना ginal angle में start ହେଲା और anterior margin में सरला. और in case of ophistoparian ସେ renal angle ପାଖରୁ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ହେଇକି ଶୋଇଯାଇଥାଏ। ଅପିଷ୍ଟ ମାନେ କ'ଣ ନା ବିଲୋ ଦ renal angle ଏଇଠୁ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ହେବ। ଏଇଠୁ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ହେଇକି ଏଇଠି ଶୋଇବ। ବିଲୋ ଦ renal angle, renal angle ଏଠି, below the renal angle ରୁ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ହେଲା ଆଉ anterior partରେ ସରିଲା। The area between the glabella and fixed cheek, जो glabella ଅଛି, glabella ଏଠି ଅଛି ଆଉ fixed cheek ଭିତରେ जो ଏରିଆଟା ଅଛି ତାକୁ କ'ଣ କହନ୍ତି ନା ହେଲା glabella, ଏଟା ହେଲା fixed cheek, ଏଟା ହେଲା fixed cheek। glabella ଆଉ fixed cheek ଭିତରେ जो ଏରିଆ ଅଛି ତାକୁ କ'ଣ କହନ୍ତି ନା cranial। The rounded margin of the cephalon is called genal angle. The spine margin of the cephalon is called genal spine. तो ये যদি কোন থিব রাউন্ডেড থিব তাকে কোনছি জেনারেল এঙ্গেল, যদি এটা স্পাইনোস থিব তাকে কোনছি জেনারেল স্পাইন। বুঝিল? তুমি দেখবে যদি এটা কোন থিব রাউন্ডেড থিব জেনারেল এঙ্গেল, যদি স্পাইনোস থিব তাকে কোন করিব না জেনারেল স্পাইন। Then comes to body বা thorax. আমি জানিছি ট্রান্সপোর্ট ডিরেকশনে কোন cephalon, thorax and pygidium में डिवाइड करेगा। Thorax consists of series of segments consist of 2 to 14। जो बॉडी पार्ट अच्छे आम पहला वर्ड्सटा रफली कर दूचे एमती तो thorax पार्टटा एमती थिला, देन pygidium एमती थिला। खाली ओवर जदी आउटलाइन करी जो मझी पार्टटा जो सेगमेंटटा अछि ये सेगमेंट 2 to 42 नंबर रे वेरी करे, 2 in Agrostis and 42 in Polyneles। Each segment are movable upon one another। ସେମାନେ କ'ଣ କରୁଥିଲେ ନା ଗୋଟେ ଉପରେ ଗୋଟେ ମୁଭ୍ କରି ପଡୁଥିଲେ। Median axis is the continuation of the glabella and pleurons are the continuation of cheeks। ଏଇଟା ଏ ଯୋଉ ग्लैबेला को लेके मेडियल पोर्शन टा कंटिन्यू करछे आउ जो प्यूरन को लेके कोटार कंटिन्यूएशन है चीक रो कंटिन्यूएशन टा हला प्यूरन। जो मेडियल एक्सेस और प्यूरल एक्सेस जो कहउतला से माने कोन हला ना एटा कंटिन्यूएशन ए ग्लैबेला रो कंटिन्यूएशन हला मेडियल एक्सेस और चीक रो कंटिन्यूएशन हला प्यूरन्स। दीज आर कॉल्ड प्यूरन्स। देखिए ये वाला प्यूरन्स। So this medial axis is the continuation of glabella. Remember, this medial axis जो थी वो ये जो glabella ଅଛି तार ही continuation। Then comes to articulating furrows. So traverse grooves between two thoracic segments which marks the location of movable joints। तो ये जो joints था से देखी कौन देता है ना movement टा ही था। ये जो segment गुड़ा का movement ए सेंटर देखिए होता है तो यहाँ कौन होती ग्लैबेला फुरो जो articulating furrows, not glabella, articulating। Here transverse grooves between two thoracic segments। ये thoracic segment है एठी या ऊपर उठे थी ता भितर जोटा अछि सेला thoracic segment रो भीतर रो पार्ट movable joints। Pleural flow है a depression on each side of the pleurons which curves backward and upward from the edge of each pleuron। ताको कहते pleural flow। ଯେତେବେଳକୁ ଏ ସାଇଡରେ ଯୋଉ ଫୁରୋ ଅଛି at the end of the pleuron it is called pleural furrow। ଏଇଟା ଦେଖାଯାଉଛି this is called articulating furrows। Then the axis and the pleurons are divided by longitudinal furrows. The axis और जो प्लूरन अच्छे से माने कौन करना longitudinal furrow जो फल होचे furrow द्वारा से माने divide ही थाते. Central axis of pleuron. Each pleurons at some distance from the axis is curved, which is called fulcrum. तो तुम्हें देखी पार्छ जे এটা হলো প্লুরন প্লুরন নাই বলছো তো এটা হলো সেই বডি পার্টর ଗୋଟେ সেগমেন্ট মানে ଗୋଟେ ହିଁ সেগমেন্ট जो 2 ରୁ 42 সেগমেন্ট ରେ ডিভাইড ହେଇଛି ତାର ଗୋଟେ ପାର୍ଟଟା ହେଲା ଏଟା ଯୋଉ ଡାଇଗ୍ରାମଟା ଅଛି सपोज ଗୋଟେ जो thorax ରେ different 2 to 42 ଅଛି ସେଗमेंट 1 2 3 4 ଏମିତି 2 to 42 ହେଇଥିବ ସେଇ ଯୋଉ ଇମେଜଟା ଥିଲା এটা ଗୋଟେ ପାର୍ଟର ହିଁ ଇମେଜ ଥିଲା ତ ଏଇଠି କ'ଣ ଦେଇଛି ନା each pleuron at some distance from the axis এটা ହେଲା axis center ର ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଗୋଟେ axis ସେ axis ଠୁ କିଛି ଦୂରରେ ସେ କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିବ ନା curve ହେଇଥିବ ଏଇଠି ଏମିତି curve ହେଇଯାଇଛି pleuron ଟା which is called fulcrum. Then the terminal end of the pleuron ये जो pleuron ଅଛି ତା terminal end এটা ହେଲା terminal end ତାର ଏଇଟା may be rounded. If rounded, it is called pleural angle, or may be produced to a spines. Then it will be called pleural spine. ये जो सबसे end portion टा जो rounded हैला तब कौन ये pleural angle जो तो से spinous हैला तब को कौन कहेगा ना pleural spines. Example हैला in case of pleural angle in present in case of Calvin and pleural spines present in case of paradoxines. Then comes to pygidion. Pygidion is the last part. Yes, Ipsita. Then comes to pygidion. The last part जो डालते हैं तो कौन सी pygidion, but tail. ऐसे ही मनोक्ता. Which composed of segment 3 to 6. से जो 3 to 6 अच्छे segment थे, से माने कौन होते हैं? मुझे दिखते हैं fuse ही है. और जो कि immovable. Thorax में जो segment उड़ाते हैं, से माने movable थे. Each segment movable थे. एठी किंतु जो लास्ट सेगमेंट थे 3 to 6 ସେମାନେ ଫ୍ୟୁଜ୍ ହେଇଯାଆନ୍ତି ଆଉ ମୁଭ୍ କରନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ ଆଉ ପିଜିଡିୟମର କାମ କ'ଣ acts as a propeller ପିଜିଡିୟମର ହେଲ୍ପରେ କ'ଣ ଥାଏ ନା ଟ୍ରାଇଲୋମେଟା ସ୍ୱିମ୍ କରିଥାଏ ପ୍ରୋପେଲର ଯେମିତି କାମ ଦିଏ ପିଜିଡିୟମ ସେମିତି କାମ ଦିଏ ଦ ପ୍ରୋସେସ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ଅଫ୍ ହେଉଛି ପିଜିଡିୟମ ଇଜ୍ କଲ୍ଡ କୋଡାଲାଇଜେସନ जो प्रोसेसରେ ସେ ଫ୍ୟୁଜ୍ ହୁଏ जो 3 to 6 सेगमेंट्स ଆଉ जो टेल फॉर्म होता है सी प्रोसेस को कहते हैं कोडालाइजेशन and the anal segment is called from the last part ଟା ଯୋଉଟା ଅଛି ପିଜିଡିୟମ ର ତାକୁ କହନ୍ତି ଟେଲସନ୍ टेल टू टेलସନ୍ ମାନେ तो ट्राइलोबाइट ର जो ପିଜିଡିୟମ ଅଛି ଆଉ ସେଫ୍ଲନ୍ କୁ ନେଇକି ସାଇଜ ଅଫ ଦ ପିଜିଡିୟମ ଆଉ ସେଫ୍ଲନ୍ କୁ ନେଇକି डिफरेंट टाइप ରେ डिवाइड କରାଯାଇଛି ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ମାଇକ୍ରୋଫାଇଗେ where the pygidium size is very small. Okay, to the head how compare karibo tail सहित then in case of it is so এটা হলো tail part টা এটা হলো head part টা তুমি যদি head और tail part compare करिवो जोठी tail part is very smaller than the head part. So like in paradoxites, it is called microphyge. Okay, small tail or small tail sum. It is called microphyge. The isophyge, the tail size or head size equally same thing. बुझे a macrophyge है जितने tail size is larger than the head size. It is called macrophygus. Pygidium is larger than the cephalon. एग्जांपल बुझिल then comes to evolution. So ଯେତେବେଳେ ଟ୍ରାଇଲୋମାଟା ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଦୁଇଟା ଟାଇପ୍ର ଇଭଲ୍ୟୁସନ୍ ଦେଖାଏ ଗୋଟେ ହେଲା ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚରାଲ ମଡିଫିକେସନ୍ ଆଉ ହେଲା ଆଡାପ୍ଟିଭ ମଡିଫିକେସନ୍ କ'ଣ କ'ଣ ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚରାଲ ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଲା ଆଉ ସେମାନେ ପରେ କେମିତି ଆଡାପ୍ଟ କଲେ ନେଚର ସହିତ ଚେଞ୍ଜିଂ ଏନଭାରମେଣ୍ଟ ସହିତ ତ ଫାଷ୍ଟ କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିଲା ନା ଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ଚରାଲ ମଡିଫିକେସନରେ ଗ୍ଲାବେଲା ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଇଥିଲା ତ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ପ୍ରିମିଟିଭ ଫର୍ମସ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ାରେ କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିଲା the glabellar furrows are distinct and extended from one side to other side. With evolution of time, all the furrows, excluding the last, disappeared. The first form ଥିଲା ନା earlier form ରେ glabellar furrow distinct ଥିଲା ଆଉ one side ରୁ other side କୁ କ'ଣ କରୁଥିଲା ନା vary କରୁଥିଲା ମାନେ ଯୋଉ extend କରୁଥିଲା but with time କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା ସବୁ last furrow କୁ ଛାଡ଼ି ଦେଇକି ଆମେ କ'ଣ ଜାଣିଛେ glabellar furrow ଏମିତି ଥାଏ ସେଫ୍ଲନ୍ এটা হেডটা এই মঝিরে গ্লাবেলার পুরো ଥିଲା মনে ଅଛି ডায়াଗ୍ରାମ ଏଇଟା ଗ୍ଲାବେଲାର ପୁରୋ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଫର୍ମରେ ଏଇଟା ଯେମିତି ଡିଭାଇଡ ହେଇକି ଅଛି ଦେଖାଉଛି ଡିଷ୍ଟିଙ୍ଗ ଅଛି ଫାଷ୍ଟରେ ଡିଷ୍ଟିଙ୍ଗ ଥିଲା ପରେ କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିଲା ନା ଲାଷ୍ଟ ପୁରୋକୁ ଛାଡ଼ି ଦେଇକି ଆଉ ସବୁ ଡିସାପିୟର ହେଇଥିଲା କ'ଣ ପାଇଁ ଡିସାପିୟର ହେଇଥିଲା ନା the last except excluding the last disappeared and finally the last puro last କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିଲା ନା ଯୋଉ last puro ବି ଥିଲା ସେ ବି disappear ହେଇଥିଲା giving rise to a smooth and furrowless glabella ପୁର ପଡ଼ିବ ଗ୍ଲାବେଲାଟା ଏମିତି ଦେଖାଯିବ ସେତେବେଳକୁ ଏଇ ଯେତିକି ସବୁ ପୁର ଗୁଡ଼ା ଅଛି ଏ ଡିପ୍ରେସନ ଗୁଡ଼ା ଅଛି ପଳେଇବ ଏ ସ୍ମୁଥ ହେଇଯିବ ତ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସ୍ମୁଥ ହେବ ସେ କ'ଣ କରିବ ନା ଯୋଉ ବୋରୋଇଂ ପାଇଁ ଇଜି ହେଇଯିବ ବୁଝିଲ ଯଦି ଯେମିତି ହେଉଛି ଗୋଟେ ନାଇଫ୍ ନେବ ସେରେଟେଡ୍ ଟିଥ୍ ଯେତିକି ଥିବ ସେ ଭିତରକୁ ପଶିବା ପାଇଁ କଷ୍ଟ ହେବ କିନ୍ତୁ ଯଦି ବ୍ଲେଡ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ା ସ୍ମୁଥ ଥିବ ଇଜିଲି ପଶିଯିବ ସିମିଲାର ଇନ୍ ଦିସ୍ କେସ୍ ଗ୍ଲାବେଲା କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିଲା ନା ପୁରରୁ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କ'ଣ ହେବ ନା ସ୍ମୁଥ ହେଇଯାଇଥିଲା Similarly, the primitive जो ग्लाबेला था ସେଥିରେ ट्रायंगुलर शेप ଥିଲା ପରେ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ट्रायंगुलर शेप ରୁ ସେ ବଲ୍ବସ୍ शेप କୁ ପଳେଇ ଆସିଥିଲା anterior side ରେ material which add ହେଲା expansion ହେଲା ଆଉ ग्लाबेला got inflated to become pear shape or spheroidal shape ଯେହେତୁ spheroidal shape ହେଲା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା this enables the animals to float ଯେତେବେଳେ ସ୍ପେରିକାଲ ହେଇଗଲା ଗ୍ଲାବେଲା ସେ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ସେମାନେ ଫ୍ଲୋଟ୍ କରିବା ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କଲେ ସିମିଲାର ୱିଥ୍ different changes comes with eyes also तो ଯେହେତୁ କହୁଛି ଆଇର ଚେଞ୍ଜେସ୍ କ'ଣ ପାଇଁ ଆସିଲା ନା ଆଡାପ୍ଟେସନ୍ ଟୁ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ଲାଇଟ୍ କଣ୍ଡିସନ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ବୋରୋଇଂ ମୋଡ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଲାଇଫ୍ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେମାନେ ବୋରୋ କରିକି ରହିଲେ ଆଉ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ଲାଇଟ୍ କଣ୍ଡିସନ୍ ଚେଞ୍ଜ ହେଲା ତାଙ୍କ ଆଇର ସେଇ ଅନୁସାରେ ଚେଞ୍ଜେସ୍ ଆସିଲା तो जनरली ଯେତେବେଳକୁ ଲୋ ଲାଇଟ୍ ସେମାନେ ଗଲେ ବେନ୍ଥିକ୍ ଫର୍ମକୁ ପଳେଇଲେ ଆଉ ବୋରୋଇଂ ଲାଇଫ୍ ସେମାନେ ନେଲେ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା ଆଖି ତାଙ୍କର ଲସ୍ ହେବା ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ହେଲା ଆଖିର ୟୁଜ୍ ହେଲାନି ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା ଆଖି ହେଉଛି ସେମାନଙ୍କର ରହିଲା ନାହିଁ ତ ପ୍ରିମିଟିଭ୍ ଫର୍ମସ୍ ଲାର୍ଜ କନସେଣ୍ଟ୍ରିକ୍ ଆଇଜ୍ ଥିଲା were attached to the globular furrow by a eye lobe. Okay. तो फास्ट फॉर्म में କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିଲା ନା ଏଇଟା ହେଲା ଆଇଟା ଲାର୍ଜର ଥିଲା ଗ୍ଲାବୁଲାର ଫ୍ଲୋ ସହିତ ଆଟାଚ୍ ହେଇଥିଲା ତ ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା ଆଇର ଯୋଉ ସାଇଜ୍ ରିଡ୍ୟୁସ୍ ହେଲା ଆଉ ଯୋଉ ଆଟାଚମେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇଥିଲା ସେ ବି ଥିନ୍ ହେଲା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ଆଟାଚମେଣ୍ଟ ପଳେଇଲା ଆଉ ଆଇ ଗୋଟେ ଛୋଟ ମାସ୍ ହେଇକି ବାହାରେ ରହିଲା ତ ୱିଥ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ ତାଙ୍କ ଆଇ ରିଡ୍ୟୁସ୍ ହେଇକି ଯାଇଥିଲା କ'ଣ ପାଇଁ ନା ଲାଇଟ୍ କଣ୍ଡିସନ୍ କମ୍ ହେଲା ଯେହେତୁ ସେମାନେ ଡିପର ଓଜନକୁ ଗଲେ ଆଉ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ଯେତେବେଳକୁ ସେମାନେ ବୋରୋଇଂ ହେବିଟେଡ୍ ସେଡିମେଣ୍ଟସ୍ ଭିତରେ ରହିଲେ ଆଖିର ଜରୁରତ ପଡ଼ିଲାନି ଆଉ ଆଖି ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ରିଡ୍ୟୁସ୍ ହେଇଗଲା ଦେନ୍ ଚେଞ୍ଜେସ୍ ଇନ୍ ଫେସିଆଲ ସୁଚର୍ସ तो earlier form there were no facial suture, free cheek and eyes एवं सब नथिला gradually protoparian hypoparian facial suture developed later on gonadotroparian opisthoparian condition followed by proparian condition also appear तो এই সিকোয়েন্সে ସେମାନଙ୍କର facial suture development ହେଇଥିଲା thorax ସେମିତି କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିଲା ନା primitive trilobite କ'ଣ ଥିଲେ ନା new larger number of thorax ଥିଲେ तो thorax ର segment କହୁଥିଲେ 2 to 42 primitive form ରେ larger segment ଥିଲେ with time କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା thoracic segment ର number reduce ହେଇକି 2 to 3 କୁ ରହିଗଲା in case of agnostos similarly in case of pygidium तो primitive form रे କ'ଣ ଥିଲା ନା pygidium absent ଥିଲେ पर स्टेज रे କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା thorax segment confuse ହେଇଗଲା ଆଉ pygidium ଦେଲେ तो ପରେ से କ'ଣ କଲା ନା swim କରିବା start କରିଦେଲା in case of later stage similarly some changes happens with also spines in case of spines except in agnostida generally all forms including swimming and free floating forms possess the spines presence of larger spines on thorax and pygidium gave triangular shape to the animal later on pleurae increased in length to give ovals the first spinous thila spine ଯେହେତୁ ଡେଭଲପ ଥିଲା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ କ'ଣ ହେଲା ନା ପ୍ୟୁରୋନ୍ ଡେଭଲପ ହେଲା ଯୋଉଥିରେ କି ସେ ଗୋଟେ ଏନିମଲକୁ ଓଭାଲ ସେପ୍ ଦେଲା ପ୍ୟୁରୋନ୍ ଆମେ କହିଲେ ଯେତେବେଳକୁ ସେ କର୍ଭ ଥିବ ଏମିତି ସ୍ପାଇନ୍ ଯେତେବେଳକୁ ସେ ପଏଣ୍ଟି ଥିବ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ପଏଣ୍ଟି ଥିଲା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ପ୍ୟୁରୋନ୍ ଡେଭଲପ ହେଲା ପରେ ଏନିମଲଟା ଓଭାଲ ସେପ୍ ଦେଲା ତ ଦ ଟ୍ରାଇଲୋବାଇଟ୍ସ କ'ଣ ଥିଲା କେବଳ କାମ୍ବିଆନ୍ ଟାଇପ୍ରେ ହେଉଛି ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ଥିଲେ maximum development in form and number in Ordovician and Silurian କୁ ତାଙ୍କ ଲାଇଫ୍ କମ୍ ହେବା ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ହେଇଥିଲା କାର୍ବୋନିଫେରସ୍ରେ ସେମାନେ ରେୟାର ହେଇଯାଇଥିଲେ and in Permian few form persisted after Permian they got extinct so they exhibit remarkable development of specialized organs for specific use they were highly evolved therefore used as index fossils for international correlation तो जेहेतु एमाने केवल कैम्ब्रियन पीरियड रे मिलुଥିଲେ सो कैम्ब्रियन नॉट कैम्ब्रियन केवल पैलियोजिक पीरियड रे मिलुଥିଲେ कैम्ब्रियन ରୁ स्टार्ट ହେଇକି पर्मियन पर्यंत शॉर्ट जियोलॉजिकल टाइम पीरियड और वाइड जियोग्राफिकल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ଥିଲା तो ସେଥିପାଇଁ इंटरनेशनल कोरिलेशन ପାଇଁ एयर डिटरमिनेशन ପାଇଁ याକୁ यूज କରାଯାଏ ଯୋଉଠି ट्राइलोबाइट ପାଇବୁ ମାନେ ତୁ କହିପାରିବୁ ଯେ ये पैलियोजिक पीरियड ହେଇଥିବ चलला ट्राइलोबाइट्स